Toronto Defiant, obviously the team to beat. They have won stage 1. And it was a dominant fashion as well. Let's see if they can do it again. They are the ones with the target on their back. That means that all pressure should be off on all the other teams. Students of the game, though, I mean, they got a great roster. If they could, like, at least put a crack in the armor of Toronto Defiant, is there a chance?
Ooh, I mean, it's going to be a tough ask. You know, if students of the game were to win this one, it would have to be some ridiculous individual mistakes on Toronto Defiant's part, and that's just not something we've seen from this roster. Honestly, aside from their close match against Timeless in stage 1, this roster has just been super clean. It's just been dominant. They have tried a few different compositions, like someone's been playing some Sigma Circuit Real, makes a lot of sense. We've seen some Doomfist in the past. We have seen them experiment with Wrecking Ball a little bit, especially with the most recent change to Adaptive Shields, right? But in most part, it's going to probably be some kind of Brawly, Orisa, Ramato composition from Toronto.
I'm an Infected believer. You know, I think Infected's very, very solid player for students of the game. I think he has a lot of flexibility. However, he's going up against someone who I think it might be fair to say is the best tank in the world right now in Overwatch in terms of flexibility. He plays every single hero in the role and at such an incredibly high and consistent level. Going up against him, it always feels like you're going to be behind in terms of the comp advantage and the swaps. And to be honest, Toronto Defiant, I think they're the favorites no matter who they play in NA. I think this team is #1 with the bullet. If Toronto, at this point, I don't know if Toronto's going to be dropping maps as we go to until we go to Dallas. Like I wouldn't, even if students of the game gets 3-0'd here, I wouldn't even be surprised. But I wouldn't feel badly about their chances for students of the game. I think the question for NA is who goes second. Maybe I'll be proven wrong, but I mean this is how it looks from what we've seen from Toronto Defiant.
Here's the thing, though: students of the game. Are they the underdog in this one? Yes. Do they have some plot armor? Oh yeah, they do, because we're still doing it for Rack Attack. And today, of all days, we're also doing it for Rack Attack's mom, because it's her birthday. So happy birthday, Rack Attack's mom. Her name is Kim. Vega's mom, Isela, also sharing a birthday. So even more reasons.
Wait, both teams have plot armor now.
Yeah, both teams have mom birthday plot armor. This is very important.
Who loves your mom more? Get her the birthday present of winning your match.
Exactly.
Oh,
if you truly love your mom. And then we have a Blem cat as well. Whose cat is that? That's Rack Attack's cat. Rack Attack's cat. So Rack Attack is more plot armor. That's what I'm.
Fury is a great name.
Taking away.
Yeah,
that is
named after one of the best off-tank players of all time.
That is a good name for it.
Yeah.
Sure
I miss Ronald Spitfire Fury. Yeah.
I miss Fury. I don't miss playing against him though. That was not fun.
So Rack Attack stacking up plot armor is what I'm seeing here.
It'll need a lot of it to take on the Toronto Defiant.
Well, we're grasping for straws, but that's all we can do at this point, because Toronto Defiant just look like they are unbeatable. 13% believers in chat, though.
Ooh. I mean, that has to be Life Weaver fans.
There's a lot of Weaver believers out there.
A lot of Weaver believers.
But you know what? I'm here for it. The Weaver's growing in my heart.
Yeah, me too. I'm kind of
Slowly blossoming. I do love that. I do love that.
It's like someday, it's almost there. It keeps getting buffed. Eventually, it's going to heal for 10 million every shot, and then it's going to be good.
And that's that. Well, this is unsurprising. I think after we've just been right today, I guess today is the day. That's all right.
Someone's got to beat Toronto before we start believing that it's possible, right? Like we're gonna keep doubting until it happens. So that, you know, there is always that hope, and I think for students of the game, you got to come into this match swinging. You got to play your game and just like go for broke on it, because honestly, if you are scared at all, you play slow at all, and you do anything unnatural, Toronto's just gonna eat you up. They're gonna find those openings and punish you. So
yeah, I mean, worst case scenario, it'll be good practice. Keep it up.
They're students.
Right here.
Time to go to school.
Students, indeed. The game about to happen. Let's see what we're learning from it. We're sending it over for all the action to Mr. X and Mitch.
I actually said your name first this time. That might be a first.
Well, yeah, you know, I'm the A side of this combo, right? I think we got you.
You're an
on
A something, man. I don't know about
things.
side though. I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, listen, this is a decent way to ease us into today's matches, because, you know, I think what Johnny said stands out the most to me. He said, if students of the game are going to win here, it's not even because they are playing up. It's that Toronto Defiant make a massive mistake. And when that's the way you kind of frame a game, it doesn't look good for the underdog.
I think it would be a combination of both, right? Students of the game obviously taking it to a little bit of a different level, and then Toronto maybe not playing at their best. these two teams matched up in the Swiss stages, right? That was a pretty fast, 2-0 for Toronto Defiant, but the students of the game, they've been kind of on fire since then, right? So maybe they've kind of caught something a little bit. I gotta say as well, everybody's talking, Costa, I feel like every time we bring somebody on, just catching strays left and right. I'm the only one who's allowed to say bad things about Costa on this show. I think that's because of the rule we gotta set.
That's the precedent we've set. I mean, to be fair though, kind of justified. If he's out there, if he's trying to light up my boy J3, what I mean? What's he expect? Homie's going to come on the broadcast and get his, you know what I'm saying? Scotty, come on, mate. It's a two-way street, brother. Here, though, Toronto Defiant might look to just fire up the steamroller and take up the entirety of the thoroughfare. This team is terrifying, at least in terms of our North American standards. I think, there was a big question that Jake sort of brought up. He's like, I don't think this team is going to lose until Dallas. I think that's a pretty safe bet to make, right? This is your Stage 1 champion.
Their total map record, it might have been through just Stage 2 thus far, 31-1, including the Swiss and everything. Yeah. So, pretty strong, right? I know they end up dropping a map to LG. That's what happened there. So both sides with the Cassidy, I'm really excited for this PGE versus Merit matchup. I think that's going to be sick.
Merit, Sugar Free, and someone. A trio of names absolutely terrifying, and that's to say nothing of the supports this team can boast. Busan is where we're kicking off here on Mecha Base, folks, and already someone has drawn the battle line deep in the students of the game's territory. This obviously allows Merit now to play that off angle, but he's been kept honest for the time being.
And I feel like one thing we'll have to keep an eye on here, at least early on, is this Genji pick, right? We saw a little bit of Genji yesterday. It's very feast or famine, though, right? You're either able to make it work or it gets punished. So we'll see if students of the game kind of tries to take advantage, maybe Sugar Free going a little bit too deep.
Nicely done by Merit there, though. Eventually, he's going to be able to prevail. That consistent pressure with a brief fallback in between. Not enough to slow him down. PGE eventually gets caught out. They knew it was going to go that way. They really had to try and find an advantage here, but Toronto still with 3 up are going to be the first to cap.
And I think where, they can kind of help Sugar Free a little bit is Toronto just plays so fast. I mean, so much faster it feels like than everybody else, where they know exactly what they want to do in every situation. Obviously a team that is extremely well practiced, and when the pace of play is that fast, right, it can be very difficult to even keep track of the Genji when everybody else is moving as a unit.
Here's a Deadeye from the high ground with the protection of the javelin spin as well. PGE with a lot of setup to try and help them, but still going to be shut down there. Not able to connect, of course. Someone blocked the projectile. Okay, Deadeye now from Merit this time around. Cal already being picked off, and Infected didn't have the defensive cooldowns to keep themselves alive against that. So Toronto, 3 kills, basically for free. And they'll once again be chilling on the point.
Yes, students of the game really hasn't been able to get anything going thus far. And then now what? You're going to be, you don't have any sound barrier, you don't need any support ult, walking right into this Sugar-Free Blade. Probably another fight that goes in favor of the Defiant. The Defiant can get pretty aggressive as you see Sugar-Free sitting up in this window, going to know exactly where the rotations are going to be coming in.
And students of the game know exactly what's coming. They know exactly what Sugar Free is planning, but it's a question of whether they can do anything about it. The answer is no. Immortality Field even thrown in the way of Sugar Free, but he cleans it up as he kills the Baptiste with that 1 slash. And this one is, well, already might be chalked here because students matter no closer to getting those support ultimates they have been lacking.
No, I mean, when the fights are over, you know, in seconds, you're not going to be able to build up towards really much of anything, right? As Toronto feels like every single time has been able to take advantage. And, you know, even Sugar Free up there on the high ground, right? As you see Scissors, you know, kind of just pestering. Like, he knows exactly where they're going to be moving, and that allows Toronto to set up as Scissors falls at the hands of Merit. Not great here to kick things off.
No, not much to say either. Immortality Field, though, in play. Something Merit cannot see right now, but it's already been cleared by RuPaul, which means that we take the Lucio kill, and we're happy about it. Back cap here, I think Scissors went over to the point to try and keep the round going, but they will be lacking a team to help them. And the rest of the students don't even manage to touch at the end of the round.
Yeah, you know, I think if you're students of the game, you just chalk that one up as an L, right? And you know, there was absolutely no way you were battling out through what Toronto was dealing in that first round of Busan. Do you want to see them change things up or keep things the same? I think you probably just kind of, if you're not going to beat them in the Orisa mirror, like, you're probably kind of doomed, right, for the rest of the series. So we'll see. there's looks like both teams hovering over. So like Wrecking Ball, I know with a Zen in the mix here potentially for this next point.
We've talked about tank players having specific hero pools, and maybe there being some picks that they're weaker on. Someone does not really abide by that rule. He can do anything. It's going to be coming out of the Wrecking Ball here to match students of the game. Soldier 76 and PGE on the Widowmaker.
Yes, I mean, the Widowmaker obviously really good at maybe taking out the Zen at range, right? But I feel like if Sugar Free gets close, it's going to be very difficult to deal with.
And also, you'll be constantly experiencing that pressure from someone. Just like now, we're looking for an opportunity to get in there and find a big slam. Cal already down. And I think it's probably time to begin the conversation about the fundamental level between these two and the difference there, because we don't need to see anything elaborate from Toronto here. They're finding a lot of individual picks, and students of the game are never going to get to enact their strategy if they are constantly a player or more down.
Yeah, and I mean, students of the game also, right? You're going to play that Zen and with the Brig kind of like surrounding it, right? Like if you can't keep the Zen alive, I know you lost, Cal a little bit earlier into that one. You're just you just don't have like as much healing output, right? It's like having an on the other side of things, right? Where, RuPaul can kind of keep everybody up. So, low healing output for students of the game, kind of like an all-in scenario in terms of their comp. Didn't work out in that first fight. Someone comes on in, pile drives down. There'll be actually students of the game who flip the point, but it's going to go right back.
And I guess here's the issue. You kind of mentioned how susceptible the Zen is to Widow, which is true, right? That's something Vega needs to be aware of. But when the Wrecking Ball comes calling, Cal is also going to be under an extreme amount of pressure. PGE makes a switch to Cassidy, which has more utility to sort of hinder the Wrecking Ball, but still will be susceptible to dive in general.
Yeah, but I guess at least a little bit more survivable, right? Cassidy, just the HP pool so large for a damage dealer, and then also just kind of damage reduction across his kit. So that's kind of the hope, right? Maybe a hindrance. You have the Brig, the Zen there with the Cassidy are able to burn down someone and make a play, but it has not looked great thus far in this mirror.
Cal under pressure again, and it's someone turning up once more. And even with the Brig in the backline, still not enough tools available to students of the game to get the Wrecking Ball off them. And there was a question, will someone play differently now that there's a Cassidy and these other elements that make it hard for the ball? No, the answer is no. He just dives straight on in and does the same darn thing. Cal somehow wasn't ready for that at all. I mean, this is very one-sided. The students of the game are getting absolutely pummeled.
Yeah, I mean, it's been as one-sided as I think you can have thus far, especially for a match where obviously Toronto the heavy favorite, but was really interested to see kind of how close students the game were to a team of this caliber, where probably final fight territory, it'll be a minefield for Infected here to kick things off, probably just to kind of clear out the point.
No stick there, Discord Orb active, but no ability for Scissors to capitalize on it now as a tactical visor from Merit, and has a little hidey hole to play from here. Really, it's the deterrence of this ultimate more than the damage that Merit is looking to leverage. Will be knocked back briefly by Infected, who's definitely come calling. Cal just got that Transcendence online here, but how grouped are students of the game to capitalize on it? They've at least swept the point here, but Toronto are threatening to end the round now, positioned back on that part of the map. Someone at least able to respect the Transcendence, but now pile drive straight back in and the pressure is renewed. PGE is removed. Someone's able to get away despite the Discord pressure, and yep, without Transcendence, you're not getting out of a pulse situation. Sugar Free able to run roughshod over the students of the game here. Scissors will have to try and touch to keep this round going, but that causes them to lose their life. And that's a map one neatly wrapped up with a bow for you as the Toronto Defiant are dominant on Busan.
Man, as that make a little bit of a statement there in that first map. I mean, that was just a blowout, it feels like, from start to finish. As soon as the game was able to get some control on that second point, but really it's like a back cap and a minefield to clear it off, right? It's not like really winning a team fight and getting control of it. So Toronto kicks things off really where they kind of left off in the series against students of the game, where they matched up in Swiss. They win 2-0 there, put together a dominant map number one.
This team is the standard. They are the absolute benchmark here in North America. You want to be competing internationally, you need to be measuring up to this team, at least in a somewhat favorable manner. Because we're here in NA, we've been talking about EU this morning as well. We had best not be forgetting about what lurks over in the APAC region, in Korea. That's definitely something that these teams are going to get a rude awakening from if they're not prepared coming into our majors. So if you want to be part of that, you've got to be able to hang with the Toronto Defiant. And honestly, it's fortunate for teams like Students of the Game because they have access to a team of this quality in their very region, right? They get to play up against the Toronto Defiant and Swiss, and now, of course, in this upper bracket. Very, very important for their development, but I think you kind of talked about it. It's really about taking their licks where they get them and use this as a chance to improve. Jake and Johnny were talking about that on the desk as well. But right now, these two teams are not even close in that fundamental level. So before we even get to talk about comps and strategy and rotations and picks, we're going to talk about them being able to coordinate and deal with this constant pressure, Matt, from all these angles.
Yeah, I'd like to see it over another map,
God.
and I mean that is a stack card there. Look, though, the first time when they played in Swiss, they did play Busan the last time, and it was 2-0 in favor of Toronto. So maybe just a pretty bad map for Students of the Game, just in general. The last time I went to Hybrid, they actually played Midtown, so a little bit of a change up here with Hollywood, picked by Students of the Game. Maybe that's because they lost Midtown the last time. They were like, well, let's not go there. Let's try something a little bit different.
Mix it up,
man.
Why not? Why not?
Yeah, mix it up a little bit. All right, Mir coming in to play DPS, which Mir, I feel like for so long, has been put on the tank role at times, right? So we'll get a chance to actually see Mir go back to what he's originally brought into play, the damage dealer role.
Just to think back, right? Mira played DPS Doomfist, Farah a fair bit, right? A lot of these sort of off-role projectile heroes in their time as a DPS player. Obviously, for them moving over, they played a lot of Zaya, played a lot of off-tank, and then, sort of had to be the tank.
They're trying to checkmate.
Yes, I mean,
maybe play him at tank long enough to just reset his DPS
fair,
brain
that
and
guy,
then put him back.
That guy gapped Mag into the 24th and a half dimension when they played.
Hey, bro, if I was
matchup.
checkmate when they put me on Reinhardt, I would have been asking for that second year guaranteed up front. I'd be like, hey, bro,
where's
there's no way you put me out there at Ryan. There's no way you put me out here at Ryan, and then you tell me I'm a free agent next year. Hell no.
No, I feel that big time. But Mira, obviously, with a history of DPS and someone who probably, plays it pretty frequently, especially in their downtime, which is obviously something a lot of these players do want to do as they're practicing and working their way up here. I don't really know what sort of roles to expect. Maybe I still think it would be a projectile DPS, right?
Yeah, you'd assume so. Maybe they want to play Genji, right? Hollywood, some high ground area. Maybe you want to play Genji. Do you want to play like Echo type of stuff? I think there's some possibility there. But yeah, it'll be curious what they decide to bring out.
Okay. It's Tracer, it's potential as well. We've actually seen a few teams do this, actually. They have like a Sojourn player in, and then they rotate a Sojourn player in off of the bench. Yeah. FMCL are the kind of team that sort of do this, right? So it could be like map specific, but nice for Mirror, that they get to experience a little bit of that flexibility and sort of roll back the years a little bit. It's going to take a lot more than that, though, to win this game, because the Toronto Defiant can put freaking someone on Lucio and still smash you.
I mean, I don't know if they could do that.
I mean, are you sure? I genuinely think they could do that. Genuinely.
Nah,
you could put Merritt on Winston.
No.
Yeah? You don't think so?
Nah, come on, man.
I dare them. I dare them to do that. But I certainly
nah.
Why not?
That's BM. That's BM.
There's
no
BM.
way. I think
this team has indulged in such BM consistently over the course of the group stages because they're having a good time.
You see, Infected, he's on the phone with the broadcast specialist talking about all the BM you've been talking about right now, all that trash.
First the Uncoachable podcast.
He's like, I'd like to report a crime.
Damn, making far too many friends out here. We are. All right, let's have a quick listen in here and see exactly what's being discussed in that oversized phone.
It's a bit big. I'm gonna go Weaver.
Wait, that's fine. Just farm for Nano. You
want me to take high?
Whatever you think is best.
God, I'd rather just
It's up to you. You
Alright,
take car or hot.
Alright, Larry, I'm just gonna get Nano. Just get Nano.
It's on blue card.
You can take that.
Alright, they're not doing it. Can you look for Nano on backline? I'm gonna jump backline if you see it.
I'm looking.
Okay.
I need
Ready?
Main. Oh, they're not on dump.
They're not.
I didn't know where they were.
Oh, okay. Just look sick. Keep shouting.
Next pedal man.
I'm taking high.
We're still getting Nano. Alright, look at me, Trey, man. Need help.
Oh, I got you.
Lift
Up
out,
cal
lift,
a
lift.
little bit.
I'm fine.
I pedal in
Bubble,
too.
okay, bubble in 8. I'm gonna jump their high, back line. I can go in.
Can you give me one?
Yeah,
Wait,
it's
just
left,
wait.
so don't break it. Oh, here?
Oh,
My
okay.
bad.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm setting up behind. You guys see
Yeah,
me?
but
I'm
I
setting
need
up behind. I'm
someone
setting up
on-
behind.
Oh,
Guys, get ready. I'm gonna set up
Fine,
behind. You guys
GG.
do the work.
Yeah, I can look nade. I can look
Trace
nade.
the top of me. Trace the top
Wait,
of
I'm
me.
setting up behind. Setting up
I see
behind.
me.
I threw
I'm
nade.
with.
Oh, I missed.
Cast one.
We can
I
walk
think
on C a
I'm
little bit. Walk on C a little.
I'm out. Chill,
Pedals
chill.
to top.
My bad.
Oh,
You
I'm
just get it. Just
get
live.
nano.
I have tree in attack.
Yeah, just kidding.
Can you get out? Infected?
All right.
Oh, you dead as hell. It's fine. I know.
Okay. I'm in a tree, and if it doesn't work, I'll just go Brig and just walk in.
Thanks for joining us here for our regularly scheduled Extinction event. As students of the game have some difficulty with this Lifeweaver composition, even getting set up without
I like
getting
the
picked off.
comms though. I like the comms.
Yeah, comms are
I'd want to
clean.
join students of the game. The
Yeah.
comms are on point. And look, they're playing that Lifeweaver, right? I don't think Lifeweaver's like ultimate is awesome, but being able to kind of give some of that high ground to PGE and trying to grip people back towards help is. That's pretty huge. PG actually gets hit with a pulse bomb there. It looks like it was actually probably just grip back, just like kind of get a little bit of immunity there. So that's going to be the tree blocking that lower exit of the coffee shop. They're going to have to break it.
Recently, the pulse damage of the Tree of Life being pulse healing rather being increased, so that's helpful. However, the Toronto Defiant don't really care for that. They're more happy to engage in some light deforestation here. The tree comes down, and they are none the worse for wear. Life grip there doesn't really save Cal as far as we can tell. And we are back on the spawn camp play.
Yeah, and we heard when we were listening to students of the game, right? They're playing around this nano. Let's build up nano. They use it, and now you're going to see a switch off of the Ana. So they're going to go Kiriko Lucio here. I know kind of like a traditional dive back line. As we were discussing, like, what is Mirror coming into play? Actually, you're just going to play the Tracer. Maybe you wanted some flexibility a little bit later, but no, who knows if we'll see it.
Deadeye here, Mirrored very tanky right now. Obviously inside that rally means it's going to be a tough nut to crack here. And will alight to the ground and start nailing shots into the rest of the students of the game. We have a minute left in the round here. The Toronto Defiant, by defending first and being so successful, indicates that this might be a very short map indeed, Matthew.
So what? Infected's got Primal. That's all you really... I mean, they take a ton of damage getting out of the spawn. You're going to have this to work with. Most likely you're going to get an Ant Matrix on the other side. Sugarfree's been landing these like pulse bombs constantly. You have a Suzu to work with here to kind of cleanse that off, but we'll see if he can land a huge one.
Getting harassed right now by Mirror. Sugarfree with a recall. Mirror close to a pulse bomb themselves. Sugarfree wants to bide his time here, and there it is. The Primal actually gets the kill. Rupal knocked out of his immortality field. And Infected able to find that elimination. So now it's down to Vega to be the lion's share of the healing here for the Toronto Defiant. Mirror recalls more than happy to play around the point here. And that one pick may have resulted in a cap here for the students, but they've got a bit of work to do still. And Infected's gone down. This could go horribly wrong for them. And Mirror with the Deadeye is able to find two. In the blink of an eye, students of the game are extinguished.
As soon as you said this is going to result maybe in a cap for students of the game, the entire team was deleted within seconds as they looked like Merit just kind of comes around from the side. It's Sugarfree gets onto the point to contest, and the Cassidy from the side, of Merit is the one who ends up picking up some of those kills. But I guess, for students of the game, you want to take some positives out of that, right? You did get 95% on the point, so it's not like Toronto has to walk in, get one tick. And you do maybe have, a little bit of a bit of a breather, right? You lose one player to come back, yeah.
You do have a bit to work with. Injustice Toronto able to give up the point and then regroup to come back on that defense. I dare say they're feeling pretty good right now, the Defiant, though, as this seems to be another day at the office. But let's tune in here. The gossip amongst the cubicles.
Here we go.
Mauga? Mauga?
Yeah, I'm down. Mauga. Curie? Maybe? Actually, I think I can bap. I think this got me.
We're actually gonna do the run fake TP where we TP and then just TP back instantly.
Wait, where do you want to go? Real thing.
Actually is. What did we do last time?
We went bottom right, I think, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
fake TP top and just go bottom right.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe only I make top and we walk in.
Wait.
Yep.
What?
Yeah. You fake people only be take. I can ship
only ham take.
And
we just walk through main, okay?
Yeah, walk in.
Wait, there.
Wait, 샷.
Stack.
봐봐. 대유수랑
Run.
루시온 미.
I think
Good point.
that's true. I'm with you then.
대유노래.
Back one, really one.
배가 터치면. 잠시.
Oh, we're like 2v3, I think. Yeah, wait. Back one. Oh. He's
Lucio coming back. Lucio one.
1v1.
Runs back.
Here run.
Piss off. Get ready back.
자.
Yep.
Help me.
샷!
Oh.
That's actually some gap.
I'm pinned. One.
어.
We're getting PG too many followers, bro.
You be flowers. What?
Me for the rose.
어!
The easiest cast of my life. I can't believe they keep letting me get away with this. Unreal stuff. What do you think about the Malga there, Matthew? Nice little variation. Really didn't seem like the Toronto Defiant were too bothered what they
They're
played.
just shouting. I mean, they were just shouting whatever hero, and they're like, yeah, fine, let's make it work.
Yeah.
Sure, why not? Like, I know, let's play Maga. I mean, they could even played Reinhardt. I know, for all we know.
Yeah, I mean, I said when students of the game tried to set up there on that high ground and surprise them with like a Reinhardt comp. They want to brawl close. Malga, they're pretty good at that. He kind of likes to throw down at those kind of close ranges. I would be surprised if students were expecting to see him come out of the spawn there on Hollywood. But this is the Toronto Defiant. When you put no pressure on them, they might do anything.
I mean, it's somewhat impressive, right? That like they kind of know how dominant they should be and not like kind of let up. Like sometimes like a team, with this much of let's say an advantage, right? Like they'll give away a mapper like every once in a while, like just joking around. Like this team takes no prisoners. It feels like just like they come in, they take care of business, and they get out. Like very clinical.
I mean, we got to do that again. That was great here in Toronto, just basically having a good time. I got to have the co-streamer experience. I can see why people enjoyed that so much. But again, like there's really no pressure on these guys after such a good defense, right? You're probably not shocked to see them just throw caution to the wind and have a little bit of fun. But this is what you need to do. You need to put pressure on this team. You need to make them respect you. And so far, no one has been able to do that. I would suggest, though, there are a couple of teams lurking in this upper bracket that could put that level of pressure on this Toronto team. But even then, it would be a struggle. These guys are a cut above the rest here. Maybe like an M80, maybe an LG could do that. But probably not until we see them would we see Toronto being forced to play properly.
And I think for students of the game at this point, right, you're like Toronto winning, stage 2, right, would almost be like the best outcome. And then you pretty much just have to beat like an LG or, you just finish second, right?
Yep.
Like that's kind of the goal there. Like, hey, we lost this match, but we don't have to go through them, later, right? Let's like, run through the losers. You beat, you got to beat probably M80 and LG, but I mean, I was gonna say you think those would be probably better matches, but who knows at this point? I think it's just because like students of the game is being made to look so bad by Toronto that you're kind of like, man, would those series not even be close? But I think Toronto does this to just about anybody.
They do this moment. To literally everybody, right? Without exception. I mean, down in the lower bracket, also like Citrus Nation are still fighting. That's the kind of team. Like, I think students of the game definitely still have, looking ahead a little bit, because let's be honest, they're going to struggle in this series. But looking ahead for them as well.
This would be a crazy reverse sweep. It would. I mean, if they did reverse sweep after these first 2 maps, this would have to be the craziest reverse sweep of all time, right?
I would say we would never have seen a more ridiculous result in all of my 7, 8, 9 years of casting Overwatch. I just don't think that would be humanly possible. But again, I'm here for it. The Toronto Defiant, though, are going to be feeling comfortable. Esperança going to be the next map. We know that, someone can play literally anything. We've seen Wrecking Ball, we've seen Malga from him. When in the past it was more of the standard selection of tanks here. I think like Infected's able to find that Primal Rage on the attack, right? They can manufacture a kill there, and we almost saw a point cap. So students of the game, like, they know how to follow like protocol. They know how to win team fights. The problem is on an individual basis, we're often seeing these kills happening at disparate parts of the map where, you know, every individual on the side of Toronto is winning out there. Whether it's someone generating a kill, whether it's Merit just being incredibly sharp, you know, they just have Sugar Free running roughshod over a backline. Everybody on this Toronto team can basically hold their own. And that's like the first port of call for any team that wants to challenge them. Do you have that individual's level? Do you have that confidence? Do you have that coordination to be able to take down a team like this on a one-to-one basis? Then we can talk about strategy. Then we can talk about macro.
I mean, it's they just don't really have a weakness at any of their positions, right? I think a lot of other teams, like you would say, compared to everybody, also don't have, you know, many weaknesses. I think there's just like a different level with the kind of coordination that Toronto plays with, where they have a good chance, obviously, put the series away here, where Mirror will stay in here for students of the game, so they'll you know, keep that swap that they made for map number 2 in here for map number 3.
Rack Attack showed us a Life Weaver at the start of Hollywood there, short-lived again because the pressure was too great. The dive potential of the Defiant constantly had him playing outside of the point, almost off the map. Here, though, we are going to see the Kirika Lucio. Very standard look here for students of the game. For Toronto, on this map especially, someone will always prefer to play the Winston.
Yeah, I think you know, he always wants to play like more, you know, dive kind of centric heroes ideally, right? But you know, we've seen great success, whether it be on the Orisa or the Reinhardt in the past, where RuPaul takes some damage there. They'll be able to heal that up. So you have the Brig in here to protect the Ana. The Ana really susceptible to some, I know, aggression coming in.
Someone already looking for the first target. He sees the slide from PGE, but it's in a direction that might make it a little bit hard to jump on right now. So someone will bide his time a little more. Keep an eye on Infected's health bar. And it's probably mostly due to Merit just hitting consistent headshots on the Orisa. Once that armor's gone, you can basically look to jump in if those defensive cooldowns have already been expended.
And the bad part here for students of the game, right, is like you kind of play this, you know, mid area. This is a great spot for Merit to play from, and with high ground, can't exactly wrap this way, right? Because you see the Brig there, and you're just allowing them to build towards that nano, which they could just jump onto somebody.
Yeah, slower play here for Toronto. Maintain the high ground here. Looks like Infected got hit with a sleep dart. Surely you can capitalize on this. No, they're woken up. So still slow play, and Merit probably playing outside of his optimal range here. Doesn't want to take any undue risks, so the Sojourn be able to light him up. So very, very passive approach to this one from Toronto. A vast contrast to what we've seen of the last couple of maps, Matthew.
Well, I mean, this is what we saw the other day on Esperança when we casted, you and I. It was really kind of like a Cassidy versus Sojourn kind of matchup. As this will be Kitsune Rush to kick things off. That's going to be the nano boost on the someone.
He's also built that primal rage up now, but Merit is actually the first to drop down, and someone looked like he got knocked off course mid-jump there by what was probably an Orisa spear. Still, RuPaul and Vega are able to stand on their own 2 feet, and they brought Mirror down for starters. RuPaul just hitting the Tracer incidentally to be able to find the elimination, and Infected is in deep trouble. That biotic grenade, harder to make work here on this map in this format. Absolutely devastating for an Orisa.
Yeah, I mean, also you can kind of cleanse it off, right? But did not have the Kiriko up in that situation, so it'll be Toronto Defiant who ends up winning that fight. They'll end up taking the lead off of this. Now what, you have like a Deadeye, you have those speed boosts, right? So you can't really kind of like usher Merit into position, but you do have this rally to kind of use that shield protect, give a little bit extra durability.
And you already kind of have position, right? You now have the high ground, so you're less worried about shuttling your Cassidy into the line of fire. More about just making use of that bridge. Nicely done, though, here by PGE. Someone going down first, getting body blocked, though, was the stroke of genius from students of the game. Can they capitalize any further? Merit falling to the overclock is good, and Sugar Free is far too low to be involved in this fight.
Oh.
So Soga going to be able to set up and start to push back on their own. Might even get themselves a lead. Oh, I love this.
Yeah, I think they're trying to make sure that PG just can't, that Sugar Free can't just spawn kill both supports, right? Because you had Rack Attack coming back off a spawn as well, as he is far behind enemy lines, gonna have to get all the way back across the map.
It is a long walk for Sugar Free, in fairness. Toronto went A4B5 for a moment, but now Sugar Free has returned. Sound barrier going to be in play, and Merit here keeping a respectful distance to the front line. Sees the Terror Surge go down. Dangerous place to be if you're Toronto. And Vega and RuPaul get caught up inside that. Still, Toronto give as good as they get. With Sugar Free still at large, he's able to bring Infected down ultimately, and Merit wants to head into an aggressive stance.
I think they just want to like move the bot a little bit forward, just give themselves some breathing room, right? Not let students of the game push straight through that underpass, right? And then just kind of take this fight back at the middle of the map, because this is actually a pretty good fight for Toronto Defiant, right? They'll have that nano boost, nothing on the other side. Someone going to build up the primal here as well, so they can get quite aggressive.
Down here once more. Someone. A lot of damage being taken there, but again, that flat heal from the nano is pretty good. Someone still though feels like he has to primal here for that survivability. And it pays off. It carries a lethal edge as he's able to smash Rack Attack with those flailing fists. And to sleep. Does in fact get put. Someone, it's an easy follow-up for him. Now we head back into enemy territory once more for Toronto. They still have a pulse bomb to work with, but they'll be facing down a Kitsune Rush.
Yeah, it's like, how do the students of the game decide to use this, right? I think they're probably going to try and do what they did the last time, is get to the high ground here, and then maybe you can actually use that to kind of clear that out. I think if you're Toronto Defiant, though, that's a fairly easy read where you have to kind of consider playing close to the store, make it costly for them to get that high ground or wrap.
Here we go, Infected
This is where
will
you'd
cross.
expect the rush, right?
Absolutely. However, the Defiant give a lot of room, and Infected took a ton of poke damage, so it's caught a bit of a cancel on that fully engage. Students of the game now just want to get the bot up close and maybe just head up to the opposite bridge.
This is smart, though, for the Defiant. What I talked about is, like, they could, like, kind of wrap out, which they do here. And then now if you end up using this Kitsune Rush in this position, you can kind of use a Deadeye to maybe kind of push them back. As this will be a Pulse Bomb connection there on the Vega.
Not a good angle for
Deadeye
Merritt.
from the flank, yeah.
He is outside of the play, well and truly. RuPaul now getting pressured heavily, still able to hold on, and with the help of someone gets rid of Mirror. Mirror at low HP wins out against Cal, but Infected is going to be there for the trade. Someone also getting removed here, so students of the game more than holding their own right now, and this is what we were looking for over the first couple of maps. Not only do they have that slim lead, but they're trading pretty effectively in a lot of these all-in brawls.
Sugar-Free trying to get this kill on the PGs. Infected no backs up to help him out. Look at that health bar. It's just like 1 HP there as gets healed up. As you do have a change, so Merritt will actually play the Sojourn as well here for Toronto Defiant, giving him a little bit more burst damage at range, especially going up against that Reese on the other side.
RuPaul here not bothering to scope in for any of these shots, you'll notice. Doesn't want to risk that vulnerability it provides. Merritt here on the Sojourn now, off the Cassidy after that underwhelming Deadeye. Here's the push. PG under a lot of pressure. Good Susie though, cleanses off that anti-heal, but Merritt's going to be there with the railgun shot. And that's another nasty stuff now. Merritt gets to play something a little bit more applicable, I think, to this part of the map, or this map in general. Now he's looking absolutely devastating. And still Toronto keeping it close though. They'll have a chance to get that lead. It's been very back and forth so far.
Yeah, I think this is probably the best chance to get the lead, right? You know, if students of the game wants to come out and be aggressive here, you have someone's primal rage to push them back, and you see how aggressive Toronto does.
Even with that mega PG, he has to get out of there. They hang around for a little while. See plenty of healing on top of that from their Kiriko. Someone drops off the bridge once more. Again, just needs to try and get around the Orisa, much like this. Bayonade thrown in there. Looks like it was cleansed or didn't connect. Someone has a primal rage here. This is devastating, and already just his posturing has forced the sound barrier. He's going to commit the primal regardless, but he took about 700 health points of damage very quickly and has to get out.
I mean, they got what they want, right? RuPaul actually does connect with that bio grenade. It gets cleansed right away, and then you know someone's primal and splitting off Infected has them use that sound barrier. They use the rush. They back out a little bit, and then they come back in with their own ultimates here. Is Vega with 2, Merritt with the overclock there. Is this going to be even more bot progress for the Defiant?
And remember, this was the map in which someone won a world championship. And in that particular map, someone's team didn't really want to push past this point of the map. They just said, we're going to abuse the high ground. We don't even need to go past this checkpoint at all. So similar style to what we observed there, is around here was where actually the winning play occurred. So Toronto don't want to take any undue risks here. They have now a much healthier lead than they did earlier on, and really powerful positioning, which again requires Infected to burn cooldowns in order just to cross.
Well,
and here comes Amira looking for a pulse, but decides against it.
I was going to say, we've seen this a few times, though, right? Where students of the game, they get aggressive, they push for high ground control. Toronto just backs out, and they're fine to play back towards that middle of the map, right? Oh, they lose Cal. It sucks.
Yeah, the pulse is no good. No Kiriko to work with now. Terror Surge for Infected, but that would be a massive risk to take. They're going to go for it anyway. Merritt just deftly slides out from it and smashes PGE with a 180 snap. And now students of the game are running on absolutely fumes. Yeah, Rack Attack will just stall for a second, but very quickly, we'll be back with Toronto pressuring now to extend their lead.
The reverse sweep looking unlikely at the moment.
Yeah.
RuPaul with a nano boost here, and could go to someone up in the window. Potentially, if they get like quite aggressive, you could drop it onto Vega, right? We've seen Nano break in the past. Nope, someone jumping out the window. PG in a lot of trouble.
Well, they have no choice. Someone didn't burn his jump, so the slide can just be chased by the Winston with this rocket jump. So really know where PG had to go. That's the power of high ground when it comes to Winston, especially specifically diving Sojourn. Merit and Vega combining to deal with Infected, who wanted to try and create a bit of a buffer here, but that has expired. 23 seconds left in the round now. Nano Boost may have expired for someone, but he has another survivability ult in his back pocket to work with. PG is going to try and ward him away, and that's a disruptor shot thrown down range by the Defiant.
They're going to back out and just play high ground.
Why not?
I think Infected tried to move the payload there previously, right, to just give them some more space getting out of spawn, but now it is do or die here for students of the game in this series, in this map, as someone looks like he'll leap in over the top, has that primal rage like you mentioned.
Yeah, utterly gapped. Nothing you can do about that. Someone went over the top. You saw PGE just had to ignore the Winston. There was nothing they could do if they wanted to try and keep their team in the game. They had to ignore that dive. They had to try and create opportunities for themselves until they were stopped dead by Merit. And there it is.
Damn.
A clean 3-0 series. Toronto Defiant closed out Esperança after a bit of a tug of war in the early stages of the map. It ends up being a clean finish as we expected.
I mean, that was, well, look, I mean, we expected Toronto to win. I think everybody on the desk picked 3-0. I think even in the world in which you picked 3-0, you would have expected a closer 3-0 than this, right? I know a little bit back and forth, but man, Toronto, they just beat them down here as students of the game. They'll fall to the lower bracket. I think they're going to be really tough for pretty much everybody else, right?
And to no one's surprise, it's now confirmed that the Toronto Defiant will be in Dallas for our OWCS Major. They have locked that up. They have enough circuit points as a result of their minimum placement here in Stage 2 to get there. So it's going to be exciting to see the very best team right now in NA representing. Let's head over to the desk, though, and break this one down. Surely, tons to go through. You guys have got a veritable trove of things to dig through.
Oh yeah, they made this one really easy for us. I mean, convincing victory by the Toronto Defiant, pretty much like everyone would have expected the outcome of this match to be. Looking like, but what can the teams even take away from that? I mean, I think even if you're looking at the students of the game, were there any like really crucial mistakes you feel like, oh, like this was definitely a reason, or is it just like individually on each and every role? Are they just outmatched?
I mean, there's definitely things you could approach differently. Like, I wonder on Esperança, they're waiting in that patient hold with the Lucio carry against the Ana on high ground. They do end up going with the rush, but it goes against them. I wonder, I mean, you're leading by like 1 meter there. It's a pretty toxic strategy, but maybe you just don't push for 8 minutes, like unironically, and sit there and wait for the Winston Ana to push you first and then rush. I think that is probably technically correct. That's what I would tell them to do as a coach. But at the same time, you're not winning the series like that. That's like a weird cheese that might give you an advantage in one fight, and the difference is just too big here. Like, I wouldn't, if anything, I wouldn't change too much from a series like this. It's like, you guys, I mean, there's just such a huge gap here. You got to accept that you're not on the level of Toronto Defiant, and just think about how you're going to make second place in this tournament and how you're going to still qualify for Dallas. I think you just got to be realistic about a match like this.
Yeah, I think the difference in play was most seen here on Esperança. We're seeing the Winston play against the Orisa, but also on Busan Sanctuary, where we see that just Toronto Defiant, they just play around their opponent so well, and that sets up Merit, like player of the match, for example. But really, I thought it was fascinating to just see Sugarfree and someone, how they're navigating around the Orisa compositions. Like, okay, we'll let you take space, because we're going to set up our Tracer, we're going to set up our Winston, we're going to take space around you and get the angles required to like break your composition apart. One moment that stood out for me was when someone got that nano towards one of the final fights there on Esperança, where it's like, okay, Infected is walking up on the Orisa, you're walking up, you're trying to, do some poke, build up the railgun, maybe get a pick. But already then, someone is in your backline, he's on your Sojourn with a nano Winston, and he timed the leap perfectly with the Sojourn slide. And so they just find a way to position themselves really well to work around their opponent. And so whenever the opponent does make aggro, whenever they do push up with a Kitsune Rush, disengage, set up around your opponent, and then like they just like piranhas, they just swarm you and just come at you from all sides. So it's really good play, and it was something we talked about. You know, they're looking at Dallas. They're looking at how can we beat the Korean teams, right? And so that's probably going to be the style that we see the most.
NA's hope, please.
NA's
please,
hope.
Toronto Defiant.
They are all we got, honestly, by the looks of it. Let's talk to RuPaul from the winning team, Toronto Defiant take the dub. RuPaul is with us for a quick chat.
What's
RuPaul,
up?
Congratulations. How are you doing?
Doing good.
Doing good after just another day in the office, what it looks like. I mean, so far it didn't really look like, even in stage one, any team made you sweat. Do you feel like there is any serious competition in this realm of the world, or do you really just like look at those majors and looking at what the Korean teams, for example, are playing?
I think last stage it was pretty easy, but this stage, I think M80 with their DPS being in NA and off ping, they're like a lot better. So I would say they're our biggest competition.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a matchup I think everyone's excited to see. But meanwhile, you guys, I don't know if you already knew this or if you were really worried about this at all, but you have already now solidified your ticket to Dallas. And so I'm thinking about you guys going to Dallas, playing the major. You know, what do you feel about that? Are you excited to go to Dallas, play on LAN, and play in front of the fans? How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I love playing in LANs, and it's been a long time. I think it'll be really fun for our team as well to play against the teams from other regions. So I think we're really excited to play against Korea. I'm not sure who will come out, but whatever the top teams from Korea are, and even I think the European teams are also really strong, and it'll be really fun.
Can we get some insight on why you decided to play some Ana Brig? You know, if you've been following the co-streams, you know, watching some of your scrims, we've been seeing that you've been practicing a lot of Ana Brig, whereas a lot of other teams, they prefer the Lucio Kiriko. Do you have any insight? Do you think that other teams are wrong about playing Lucio Kiriko? Is it a personal preference, or maybe some Dallas preparation, you know, having that backline ready for facing the Asian teams?
Yeah, I think it definitely is a lot of Dallas prep. I think we expect to go there, and I think we play Ana Brig, especially people were watching the scrims, and I remember like the first week we were doing really bad in scrims actually, and everybody was like saying on like Reddit or Twitter like, wow, they actually suck. And so, you know, it put like kind of a flame under like me and Vega to like work a lot harder, not just us, but like the whole team. And I think we've gotten to a much higher level now, and we're pretty disciplined. And even in the match today, we're like up 2-0, and we're thinking, okay, we can't like really troll. We're not gonna like, we still take them seriously. They're a good team, but we decided to play Ana Brig instead of Lucio because we just want to get some extra practice in.
Taking the whole main event as a practice ground, you love to see that. That should make everyone else going up against you pretty fearful. Now, that's it for our interview. RuPaul, thank you so much for joining us, and best of luck in the rest of the event.
Thanks for having me.